G'day guys, welcome back to another video on the channel, and in today's video we're going to be introducing a new series which I'm not sure how long will last on the channel. However, we're going to be doing some AFL power rankings for the month of March that is just gone, so that is rounds 1 to 3. At the start of every month I'm going to be looking back on the month just gone. I'm going to be doing a power ranking to see where all AFL teams stand from first position all the way down to 18th, sort of just a ranking of how the teams are currently performing. If you guys do go on to enjoy today's video, make sure to leave a like, subscribe to the channel if you are new, and we'll get straight into it. So I've made a new tier maker for this one. We're just going to do it on tier maker, nice and simple and basic and easy to obviously read and everything like that. So we're going to be going in alphabetical order, starting off with the Crows. I feel like the Crows have had, well, obviously a pretty poor start to the season, but they've also had a little bit of positives like shown. Against Geelong at home a few weeks back, they were okay. They just sort of got run over the top by the Cats, who are in some pretty good form. However, at the moment, just because they're 0-3 and they're yet to win a game, obviously they do play tonight versus the D's, so hopefully for their sake they can get their first win on the board. But at the moment, we're going to have to put them probably in the bottom 4 because of their record at the moment. They're yet to pick up a win. Yes, they've shown some positives, but it's been pretty heavily a negative start for the Adelaide Footy Club. Up to Brisbane now, and once again, they're 0-3. They're going in the bottom 4 at the moment. Who would have thought after the first month of footy, let's say on grand final day, that the Brisbane Lions would be 0-3 and haven't won a game in the first month of footy? Who would have known? No one would have said that. So they're going to be, obviously they have not been as bad as the Crows. Obviously they've put up a bit more higher totals, and well, obviously that game against Carlton where they only lost by a point, and they did play well until they just choked. So they're going to have to be a bottom 4 side, which is going to be so weird to see. The first month of footy really doesn't mean a lot. You can't really judge teams based on their ladder position after the first month of football. So this first power rankings table could look a little bit ordinary. Coming up to the Blues, who are 3-0, yet to lose a game. They're undefeated, the Carlton Footy Club, already this season, obviously kicking off their wins against the Lions in opening round, and then they went to beat the Richmond Tigers by not too much, but they did get the job done. Then obviously they had the bye, and then they smashed the hell out of North Melbourne. However, nonetheless, very, very positive start for the Carlton Footy Club, and I would say they would have to be in the top 4 considering their form. Considering at the moment they're 3-0, they're yet to lose a game, and they are playing some good footy. Obviously, versing North, you can't take much. However, even just when they versed Richmond, they still got the job done, and then obviously that clinic that they put on against the Lions a few weeks back was extraordinary, so I reckon they're definitely a top 4 side at the minute. Moving on to the Pies, which is a bit of a funny one now. Obviously, they're yet to have their bye. They are 1-3, starting off the season 0-3, picking up their first win of the season against Brisbane just last Friday, or Thursday night, should I say, up at the Gabba, which was good for the Pies to get their wins underway. However, look at the 3 weeks before that, they were playing shocking football. Obviously, against the Giants, you can say there's a bit of an exception there because the Giants at home, they're obviously a very strong side. But then the games just after that was just shocking. Against the Swans, they didn't put up a fight. And then the Saints ran all over them as well on the Thursday night a couple weeks back. So overall, it's been a pretty negative start, but they've got 1 win on the board. So I think they would have to be either at the top of the bottom 4, or I'm gonna put them in 9th to 14th. Just for the moment, and then at the end, if some things don't seem too right, I might switch it up a bit. Moving on to the Bombers, who have had a pretty positive start, obviously only picking up that 1 loss against the Swans at the SCG, which is always going to be a difficult task, and to still put up 101 as a final score and lose is pretty good effort. So I'm going to put the Bombers at the moment in 5th to 8th. I reckon they'll be more on the higher end of the spectrum though, because they've been playing some decent footy. Obviously got the job done against the Saints in a pretty good win, and they also knocked off the Hawks in round 1. So overall, a pretty positive start for the Bombers fans. They shouldn't be too angry at all at the start. If not, they should be more positive than negative. Moving on to the Freo Dockers, who, if you are new to the channel, is the team that I do support. The Dockers have started off their season 3-0, so they will be joining the Carlton Footy Club And once again, I might be changing this up at the end because obviously some teams are probably better than Freo at the minute. Obviously knocked off last year's grand finalists in Brisbane at home. And we knocked off the Kangaroos away. And then we also knocked off the Crows at home on Friday night just last week. Look, some of our footy hasn't been the most convincing, that's for sure. However, we're 3-0, 4 points is 4 points, and we're sitting second on the ladder. At the moment, I'm going to put us in 4th. However, it could definitely change and we might drop down to 5th or so. Moving on to the Cats, who are also 3-0. They've had a terrific start to the season, the Cats, and which many people, including myself, I did not think the Cats would be starting off this strong. I thought their list would just sort of drop down and they wouldn't be the same, but like, honestly, they're playing some of the best footy in the league at the moment. I'm going to put them in 5th for now. They might move up, they might stay, but I'm going to put them in 5th. They've been playing some good footy, probably some of the best footy in the league. Moving on to the Gold Coast Suns, who, well, a bit of an interesting one. They obviously did knock off Richmond in opening round up at their home deck, and then they also knocked off the Adelaide Crows at their home deck the week after. But since then, they've got hammered by, what was it, the Dogs, and then they've had the bye, so they're 2-1 at the moment. So it's a bit of a strange one for the Suns, because they started off all right. Yes, they've got 2 wins on the board, but that win against the Crows wasn't too great. I'm going to have to chuck them in probably 9th or 8th. I'll give them the benefit of the doubt for now. I'll put them in 8th. However, they might slide down to 9th. Moving on to the Hawks, who are 0-3 and have been playing probably some of the most atrocious football I've seen in a while. I mean, picking up Guinea and Watson and Jack Gunson back in the team, they haven't really been too great. However, if you guys did watch my video uploaded yesterday, I did in fact tip the Hawks over the Pies, which I'm probably not actually going to do on ESPN Footy Tips because I want to get a good score and I'm in some competitions that I sort of want to get some money from. So to not be stupid, I doubt I'll be tipping the Hawks, but just for the fun of the video, I did tip them in yesterday's tips. However, 0-3 start. They've got to be one of the worst teams in the league at the moment, and I'm going to chuck them there in 17th. Moving on to the Giants, 3-0. They are possibly the strongest team in the league at the moment, if not, well, no, they're probably the strongest team in the league at the moment, let's be completely honest. They've been killing everyone. They've been putting up really, really high totals as well. And the team's chemistry is just absolutely class. You would just expect them to get the job done anywhere. And they've got the Suns this week in Gather Round, which is going to be probably another, you would assume another win for the Giants. So they're most likely going to be going 4-0 after this week. They've been playing some of the best footy in the league, and it would just be rude not to put them first because that's where they are, even on the ladder. Moving on to the D's, who obviously lost their first game in opening round against the Swans at the SCG. However, since then, they've picked up really, really good form, and they've won 3 on the trot now, including that win against Port Adelaide in Adelaide last weekend, which is a really good effort for the D's to travel over to Adelaide and get the job done against the Power. I'm going to be chucking them in 5th just because they've got 1 loss to their name, and that performance against Sydney in opening round wasn't the greatest. I'm going to chuck them in 5th, and I might chuck Freo down soon as well, actually, because, well, there's one more good team in this bunch that probably deserves that top 4 spot. North Melbourne. We're going to have to put them in 17th. I'm going to move the Lions up to 14th, and that's probably how it should go. Yeah, the Roos have just looked absolutely clueless. They were up against Freo by like, what, 6 goals or like 40 points or something, and we still managed to come back and get the job done, which was, well, credit to the Dockers. We absolutely killed them in that second half, and I think we kicked, what, 7 or 8 goals in that third quarter, which was extraordinary. But yeah, the Roos obviously got hammered on Friday, Good Friday against the Blues, and then, look, they just have not had a good start to the season, and definitely one of the worst teams in the comp at the minute. Port Adelaide, they picked up a 50-point win against West Coast, obviously, to kickstart their season. The Power, then they got the job done at the MCG against the Tigers, and they were back at home, and they couldn't seem to get the job done against the D's, which, personally, I thought they were going to get the job done at home. However, apart from that 1 loss, they've been pretty bloody good. I reckon Gold Coast, we're going to have to move you down, and we're going to have to bring the Power up. Probably playing this, like, exactly the same brand of footy as the Cats at the moment in terms of just quality. So I'm going to put them with the Cats in, what's that, 7th position. Richmond now, who have just picked up their first win under their new coach, Adam Uze, obviously picked up the first win on the weekend against the Swans at the home deck, which is a really good way to kickstart their wins for the season. However, they had a pretty poor start just before that win, but they were playing some good footy on the weekend, so I'm going to put them Probably tied with Collingwood there. Nothing special, but they did knock off the Swans. So I'm going to put them at the top end of the spectrum. I'm going to put them in probably 9th at the moment. Yeah, 9th. The Saints, who done pretty well at the moment. 1 and 2, sort of average, I guess you could say, actually. Just picking up that one win against the Pies on Thursday night was pretty much, well, is their only win of the season. Then they got killed by the Bombers in the end, and they also got killed by the Cats at GMHBA. Nonetheless, they've been playing just sort of an average brand of football, I guess, like nothing special. Just genuinely nothing special. I'll put them tied with the Suns. I'll put them just in front of the Suns, though. 10th position. 3 teams remaining. The Swans obviously do deserve the top 4 position. And I'm going to put them in 2nd place. I feel like New South Wales are dominating the league in the moment with their teams. Obviously, the Giants in 1st, Sydney in 2nd. Sydney, they've done real well. Obviously, 3-1, and their only loss was against the Tigers. Against a Gold Coast and West Coast, so nothing extraordinarily special for the Bulldogs in terms of their wins this year. One against Gold Coast and one against West Coast really isn't something you can jump out of your chair for. I'm going to be chucking the Bulldogs in 9th position, I think, just because their wins haven't been the most impressive wins because of the sides they've been playing. However, 2-1, you can't complain, and I reckon at the top end of the spectrum in the 9th to 14th position, I reckon they're sitting 9th at the moment in terms of power rankings, just sort of average, but a little bit above average. And I think that's how we're going to finish today's video for the first power rankings on the channel. If you guys did enjoy this video, make sure to leave a like, subscribe to the channel if you are new. As I did say in my tips video released yesterday, I'm filming on the new camera, so just trying to get a few things sorted in terms of like audio quality and video quality. However, plenty of content will be released during the next couple of weeks as I am on school holiday, so I've got lots of time up the sleeve to film, record, edit, etc. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you all in the next video. Cheers.